Hey guys, this is going to be a different video. Different from the regular trash that I post on my YouTube channel of gaming clips and just garbage. I'm a dungeon master and I absolutely love making content for my players. And this is going to be a video about my map creation and what goes into it. I came into this map knowing nothing, really. My players are on a hunt to track down a creature that has been terrorizing the northern island of New Horizon. And based off my own notes and what I told sessions prior, this is all that I had. I really only had several bullet points. The island was named New Horizon. There was a xenophobic dwarven mining colony. The island's climate was harsh and snowy. There were really cool features such as ice volcanoes and icy lakes. And so I set off on my adventure. I'll be using Incarnate, an incredible site that allows you to be the cartographer of your wildest dreams. First things first, a style. The styles have drastic differences between global, regional, and colourful maps, zoomed in battle maps, or even parchments, which is what I chose, and obviously in 4K. I'd start by making the land. I obviously have no idea what this island's landmass shape should even be, so I just start doodling around and seeing what looks good, whether it be jutting out peninsulas, bays, beaches, rivers, and lakes. I am completely aware that there is an army of people out there with complete knowledge of river formations, and I understand that this river defies norms of how rivers form. But I'm sorry, but I just don't care. Because this is my map, baby! I'll plop down the port city and the riverside dwarven colony in the mountains, gussy up the river, and make it look a bit more dangerous, a bit more interesting. I tried to go for more of a river rapid kind of look with overlooking stone canopies. And right about now was the exact moment I realized the parchment style I chose is literally the worst thing I've ever chosen in my life. Sure, it's great for like other regional maps like the one I've done prior, but for this kind of river rapid kind of feel, these brown black lines, ugh. But I thought, okay, I'll go into Photoshop afterwards and I'll fix it up and it should be fine, but no, I never did that. And because this is a Dwarven map, I bust out the Dwarven translator and start throwing names around for locations and geographical features. At the time, I was listening to the Beach on Kazooie soundtrack, and I got flashbacks to the twin dragons, Chili Willy and Chili Billy, so I threw in 2 volcanoes. Tried to get a Dwarven translator but failed, so I threw in some names into a Latin translator and disliked it all. Figured that since Russia shares a similar climate, I may as well translate from Russian, and that's when I got the name Gorn. I really liked this lake's outline, and so I gave it more detail, added more cliff faces, and then I just completely deleted it all except for the cliffs and filled it in. And voila. I also wanted to reward the players for reading this map, so throughout this journey I sprinkled a few little small caves and details to lead to side quests and rewarding locations if they find them and explore them. Euphemia, the creature that they're hunting, needed to be near the dwarven colony of Dalgam, so I made its lair just northwest, a hollow icy spire with a slice down the center. A place for an incredibly vertical and interesting boss fight with a very dangerous litter of icy spires at the base. And at this point I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Basically like snowy dunes, fierce winds, I don't know yet. I've got no clue. And during this whole map making process, in the back of my mind, it's reeling through, I guess, who are these dwarven people? What are they doing? They're xenophobic. So what about like elves? Oh, okay. They've got a feud with the elves. Okay, where do the elves live? Oh my goodness. Okay, the dwarves kind of ransacked the place, destroyed the elven village, and now the elves are nomads or they're somewhere else. I had more of an idea of what I wanted northwest. Still pretty damn vague, but at least it wasn't just dunes. It was more of like a desolate wasteland, like Iceland kind of area. I had mountains separate the northwestern section from the mainland. And then I put in some strange craters, which at the moment I didn't really understand, but later, I get some concept ideas for it. Now I've been adding trees for nearly the past 5 minutes, and during the whole process, and the whole time, I'm thinking about what else does this map need, and it just hits me that I previously actually wanted to run a side quest or a campaign based around the 7 deadly sins. And so I've littered the map with small details, small caves here and there, left and right, that there are actually 5 left on this island. 2, however, are dead already. And as I place that isolated mound to the northwest, I realized what creature it's gonna house. It's gonna be the lonely. The same stat block. The other caves are gonna have the lost, the hungry, the keeper, and the angry, respectively being wrath, greed, gluttony, pride, and envy. But that's gonna be a side quest whether or not the players even find it or not. As the map's now starting to look pretty damn good if I do say so myself, it's time to really stylize it, add the final borders and clouds around the outside, to really just frame it. Slap on the grid and include a measurement to indicate the distance. Add a dwarven compass and a few lines to really cement and solidify this map's presence within the world. A few names and locations and even the date and time. As I finalized the finishing touches around the borders of the map, I wondered the differences between the societies of dwarves and elves and how they would record keep and even graph maps down. I had a quirky idea that the elves actually stole one of the incomplete maps carved out by the dwarves and finished the map with borders and stylizing more suitable to the elves, and that the dwarves actually really despised it, again fueling their feud and hatred towards the elves. So once the map was finished, it looks pretty good and I was very happy with it. I exported at 4K, imported into Flash, created a new layer, and then did some drawings on the map. Just drawings for myself, nothing that the players would be able to see. And basically concepts, ideas, monsters, and certain types of encounters as well. I thought it'd be a fun idea to add a third race to this island, Tritons, in like a hidden underwater society underneath the frozen lakes of Dalgam. There'd be a massive source of knowledge and a pretty big pinnacle in terms of the other side quests and learning more about the land and the creatures that inhabit it. Now at this point I'm pretty much going wild with my second monitor showcasing pretty much every monster in order of CR that is suitable with mountains, coastal regions, and also Arctic environments. I go absolutely nuts and start populating the lands, reading into their lair and regional effects, and then I start in green outlining, I guess, the environmental effects and how the player is going to perceive it. Again, all of these notes being for me, only the map for them. So this whole process that I'm doing is pretty mindless, admittedly. Sure, I'm looking over to my right monitor and kind of grabbing ideas and monsters and what have you. However, in the back of my mind is still lingering about the idea that the elves stole this map from the dwarves, and I'm thinking, hang on, how long ago was this? I had a time, a date, in the bottom left. Maybe it's in the future, hang on. Let's just say that every era is defined by every time the volcano erupts, and every time the volcano erupts, the land changes drastically. This was the deciding moment to go balls deep into making this map for my players. I start channeling myself back to when I was like in grade 5 and map making for assignments, pirate maps, burning the edges, tinting it with like coffee stains and wine and making it look ancient. And I think, okay, we're gonna have 2 maps now. One map is current events. The second map I'm gonna make, and it's gonna be in the past. And the players are going to refer to it for hints. And so I started doing this. I set off to Officeworks in the morning, printed off 2 nice colored versions of the map, because I know that I'm going to completely botch one of them during this process. I boil some water, add some instant coffee, preheat the oven to 200, and let it sit for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, I bake it for 10. And I don't know about you, but damn, it's looking good. Almost like it's got dirt on it. Exactly how it's meant to be found in-game. So, you know how I said that I made 2 copies? Because I'm a klutz? Yeah, I tried burning one of them and it just wouldn't stop burning. Maybe don't burn it immediately after you bake it. The dirty map was meant to be found on a dead wizard, so I thought I'd try to practice some calligraphy, or at least, typography and the sort. And yeah, I was trying to spell professor correctly as well. So I freehand drew it straight onto the map. It looks pretty good, and then I dug up an old relic, something that one of my players gave me a while back. And yeah, that's a blue light. We're getting into this. And so I set off. I started jotting down a lot of notes that the professor took just before his frozen demise. A lot of it alluding to side quest nonsense about the deadly sins, and also about the Trident Village, and maybe you shouldn't go over here because you're gonna eventually die if you do. Thank you to Daniel for giving me this idea, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me trying to be extra.